Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sudhakar Bangera. By education, I'm a medical graduate. I've done my MBBS, MD Pharmacology, and Masters in Clinical Research. And also, I've done PG Diploma in Pharmaceutical Marketing, plus 2 fellowships in vaccinology courses, both in India and abroad. I've worked in the pharmaceutical research industry for about 20 plus years. So with clinical trial experience, I have of about 26 years now. Because I started the clinical trial right from my MD. Since last 3 years, I'm doing a lot of consulting. So it's my own firm called as Alien Clinical Research Services. In addition, I'm a mentor to a lot of healthcare startup companies, plus an advisor for the Vadhwani Research Center for Bioengineering at IIT Bombay. Along with me, I have Basappa, who is also amongst the participants, I guess. So he's been with the IQVIA for quite some time. And then I think he has left about a year back, and now he's on his own, doing a lot of online programs for clinical research, pharmacovigilance, data management, and other training programs. So we conduct, we speak on pharmacovigilance to, both of us together in the forum, and so he will be coming in between to talk about this area. Basappa, there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for introduction. I'm there, sir.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, nothing, sir. I will add in between where I have to speak.
Okay, fine. So let us talk about pharmacovigilance and why it is important. Okay, so as per the WHO definition, pharmacovigilance is science and activities related to detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse events of any medicine, which when I say medicine, it includes pharmaceuticals, number one. Number two, biologicals, which also include vaccines, which we can put it as 3, cosmetics and medical devices. Okay, so this is detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of effects, adverse effects. In layman term, we call it as a side effects also. But I hope you have some science background or maybe some pharmacy background. So hopefully we don't use that word side effects. We use the word adverse effects of any drug. Okay, and drug includes all these 5. In addition to that, there are cases where it is not just due to the drug, it could also be to their related forms. For example, in vaccines, we have vaccination and then immunization as well, right? So that itself or the product can itself cause some problems, maybe due to some ingredients issue or due to some manufacturing issues and things like that. So all those things come under pharmacovigilance. Okay, so the last part of this particular definition is it occurs at doses normally used in human. Now that's important to know, because if somebody's been told to take 500 milligram 3 times a day, but they take about 10 tablets, that is about 5 grams at a single shot, so that becomes misuse or overdose or abuse of some of the medicines. So that we don't take them as pharmacovigilance. Of course, we take those forms and process it, but it gets a little bit away from the normal processing in case of signals or anything that we see abnormally. Okay, because that is not been approved for a. So whenever a regulator or regulatory agency approves a drug, they approve for a particular therapeutic indication at a therapeutic dose also. Anything beyond that, then it becomes not actually approved. For example, if it is therapeutic indication is for infection and they use it for something else, maybe for cancer, then we say it's an off-label indication. if it is used, approved for 500 milligram 3 times daily, but somebody is taking 6 times because a physician or somebody, or somebody just does it themselves, then we call misuse. Okay. So that we have to understand. So in summary, pharmacovigilance is defined by WHO as a science and activities relating to D as in detection, A as in assessment, U as in understanding, and P as prevention of adverse effects, or which is directly, or any medicine or vaccine related harm that occurs at doses normally used in human. Now, I mentioned, that drug. So when generally we say drug, but drug also includes pharmaceuticals, biologicals, vaccines, cosmetics, and medical devices. Okay. Generally, these are always, they are tested in the lab. Then next stage, they go into testing in animals. And if they are working well, when I say working well, I mean both the safety as well as efficacy. If they're okay, then they move into clinical trials. Yeah, where so clinical means human. So when they are tested in human, we call them as clinical trials. So all these pharmaceuticals, biologicals, medical device, and some of the new cosmetics, if they come under the drug classification, then they go through all this lab, animal, and clinical trials prior to marketing. But the problem with this is, I mean, it is good enough for marketing authorization, but the problem is we have very limited experiences. For example, we would have done a clinical trial in about 30 or 36 normal healthy volunteers, and maybe a phase 2 study in about 200, 300, or 400 patients, or in case of vaccine, maybe in 400 or 500 healthy volunteers, and then a phase 3 in about thousands, maybe 10,000 also, but it is 10,000. So it is a limited number of patients or trial participants that participate in a clinical trial. So our data is in terms of safety is limited to only those 10,000 plus 300 plus 30 in the phase 1. Okay, so only limited to that. But once it is marketed, or once we get a MA, that is marketing authorization, then they get into quite a lot of heterogeneous population. That means to millions of people, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, so the effect that may be seen will be something new that we won't have seen in 10,000 plus 300 plus 30. Okay, so it's a small number of participants that we see. Homogeneous, because in every clinical trial, we always have eligibility criteria, which means, for example, we would do phase 1 only normal healthy volunteers, unless it is a cancer, psychiatric, or any of the CNS or HIV studies. Okay, but that is normal. So we say, okay, between 18 to 45 only. In a phase 2 or phase 3, we would say 18 to 65 only. Okay. And then we would say no coexisting illnesses, not in children, and, because below 18 we don't take it. We say pregnancy should be ruled out, and such some drugs have avoided. Can you mute, please? No, so there are certain drugs that can be allowed. Okay, so not all the drugs. Whereas when we get into the market, we don't have control on this, right? So I think most of you know about COVID-19 vaccines, right? All of you have taken. Now you would have realized that it was not given to children first. It was given to adult first, then to children, and still people are thinking twice whether we should give it to pregnant woman or not. Okay, so that is so we call them as a homogeneous target population. Okay, so we are like the best of the lot amongst the diseased people. Okay, and when we do it in such a small number of patients, we also miss quite a lot of rare adverse events. Okay, so it's always better to have pharmacovigilance, because once it is in the market, we have a heterogeneous population. Like for example, somebody has got diabetes, It's very commonly we see that they also have hypertension as well. Okay, sometimes we have seen people with diabetes, hypertension, plus they have cancer as well. So the testing would have been done only in diabetes mellitus type 2. Okay, now the person has got hypertension and as well as cancer, so they may be taking other drugs for hypertension, uh, or maybe just only one, not in combination, and also they may be taking for the type 2, uh, it was tested in one particular product, but now they are taking insulin also along with them. Okay, in addition, they may have cancer, so they may have other coexisting illnesses. Maybe they have migraine also. So you will see that they will have multiple problems, that is sickness. They may have multiple medications, what we call it polypharmacy. And we would have tested them only in 12 weeks. For example, in type 2 diabetes mellitus or in hypertension studies, we would have taken, we would have studied the particular product for about 12 weeks. But what happens once we start treatment and once we get the MA and then we give it to a patient, patient has to take it lifelong. But we would not know the range of adverse effects over a period of time. Okay, so in an animal study, we have something called chronic toxicity studies or subchronic toxicity studies. We do it for 3 months, 6 months, and if it is long term, we do it for 12 months only. But we do not know the effect of this drug. What would happen if somebody takes it for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years? Okay, we don't know exactly. And in my own experience, I've seen when the study was done for about 6 months in animal, and we started that particular drug in a phase 2 study, we realized that once you are given that particular product for more than a year, it starts showing up carcinogenicity. Okay, so there are some drugs which can cause or show off some toxicity study, so toxic effects on a long-term basis. Okay, that's why pharmacovigilance is required. Okay, so basically we once it is in the market, we can get all the information from the market or the users or the patients who are, we would also call them as consumers, or the users or consumers of a particular product. They can come back to the manufacturer or come back to their healthcare professional and tell them that this is a adverse event that I see or side effect that I see. They could also report the particular adverse event directly to the agency. For example, in India, the regulator is CDSCO, and they are the National Regulatory Agency or Authority, NRA. But they don't do it themselves, so they have given this to IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeia Mission, where under that one of the division that they have is Pharmacovigilance Program of India, what we call the PVPI. So within that, there are pharmacovigilance for drugs. There are pharmacovigilance for medical device, what we call as a material vigilance. There is pharmacovigilance for blood and blood products, what we call as hemovigilance. Okay, so these under this, there are some coordinating centers, and they become responsible for taking all those adverse events that are reported by the consumer or by healthcare professional. Okay, so based on this, it goes to the NRA. From NRA, it goes to Uppsala Monitoring Center, and they gather all the adverse events from about 150 countries. Okay, so when they get adverse event for a particular product from 150 countries, we get an idea of how the drug works on the race, how the drug works against a particular food, any drug-to-drug interactions, what about any off-label indications, what about other coexisting illnesses and all that. So we get a good safety profile, okay, of a particular product. Okay, once we get that, it is sent back to the manufacturer, and manufacturer has to or update the package insert or the prescription leaflet. Okay, so that's how we update the clinical safety profile of any product that has been launched recently. Okay. So as I mentioned, since some of the drugs have to be given on a long term, you will see that they will see some new risk or new adverse events. Sometimes, not sometimes, I think most of the time we also see some the uncommon, common, and we keep on seeing the percentage also starts varying. And we start seeing some rare adverse drug reactions. Okay. Once we know all these things, the benefit risk ratio also starts changing. For example, earlier we would have seen it is showing benefit in about 10,000 patients, and the risks are low. But now we'll see that the benefit is the same. That means the high blood pressure is coming down to a normal, but the risk, the number of risk or the adverse events are going up, or increasing, because we are getting now a lot of information from across the country or the world as well. Okay. So once all these things come into picture, or the manufacturer comes to know, or the regulator comes to know, they are bound to update their information on the website, or on the package insert, or on the prescription leaflet. Okay. So consumer or the doctor, which we call as a healthcare professional, also update their understanding. So here is one example that I wish to give. This is on a medical product called as miltefosine, which is used for post-Kala-Azar dermal leishmaniasis. So leishmaniasis is a disease that is caused by sandfly. Okay, it's a parasitic infection, and miltefosine is an oral broad-spectrum antimicrobial, which started as antimicrobial, but people saw that against leishmania or leishmaniasis, it has got a better efficacy. Okay. Leishmaniasis, we have like three types. One is the cutaneous, mucocutaneous, and the visceral. Okay. And when we use it in them, we've seen that, something called as post-Kala-Azar dermal leishmaniasis, which happens once the visceral leishmaniasis has been cured. Okay. So for this particular disease, miltefosine works very well. So when it was used as an anti-infective, we didn't see that much of problems. But when we started using in PKDL, we saw that this was causing a lot of ocular problems. So like some people may have blindness, ulcerative keratitis, leukocoria, blurred vision, ocular hyperemia, or photophobia, including eye pain. Some people also get uveitis and keratitis as well. Okay, so anywhere between 28 days to 12 weeks. Okay, the good thing is once the treatment is stopped, okay, the symptoms also go away. But that is not the point. The point is, if the patient don't tell that they are on this miltefosine, then what will happen is, the eye specialist may not know, and they may start giving treatment for this, and it may keep on continuing. Okay, so this is a problem that people saw. And UMC, the Uppsala Monitoring Center, was actually collecting all the information, and they forwarded it to WHO, and WHO Advisory Committee on Safety of Medicinal Products. They got together early this year, and they went through the entire data, and they said, yes, the patients have to be informed about this particular adverse event, that is the eye problem, or the risk of ocular diseases. And if they have such problem, they should be referred to the healthcare professional. Okay, and the healthcare professional should keep on checking them once somebody is on PKDL. Okay, so that's how the benefit is. So basically, what I mentioned in the beginning of the talk is, we will not know all these things during regular clinical trial. Okay, but once it has been, so it started as anti-infective, then it moved into leishmaniasis, and when it was given to a large number, we could find out that a lot of people came back with the ocular problems, okay, or eye problems. Okay, so that's how WHO got involved, and then they said, this is how you have to take care of them. Now, let me go through another example on a vaccine. Okay, so that is about a pharmaceutical. Here's a vaccine. So there were reports of myocarditis and pericarditis with COVID-19 mRNA vaccines. Okay, mainly it was with the Moderna mRNA vaccine. So what it was seen is in younger people, especially male, there were cases of myocarditis and pericarditis, and when they clubbed all together, younger men between 12 to 29, the number of cases were higher, like 40.6 cases per million, whereas in females it was less. Okay, after taking 2 doses of mRNA vaccine. Okay, so the European countries were the first one to, I mean, it was seen in US also, but European countries also saw this last year, and they stopped the use of Moderna's Spikevax, okay, in younger males, which means this is good to know, because in younger between 12 to 29, we can use some other vaccine, not mRNA vaccine, okay. That's the basic funda behind this. But when WHO saw all this, there is a group called the Advisory Committee, Global Advisory Committee on Vaccine Safety, which I've been part of that. When I was working in the pharmaceutical research company, where all the data came in, and they saw that myocarditis was seen. But now, whether it is really due to the vaccine or is it because of the infection, that thing is still going on. And if you see the benefit risk ratio, it is just 40 cases per million, whereas the chances of getting a COVID and the complications after COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 infection, that's much more higher. That means there's a clear benefit in preventing hospitalization and death from COVID-19 with the particular mRNA vaccine. So it can be given, but the country should continue to monitor reports of myocarditis and pericarditis. Or in case somebody has taken a mRNA, especially after 2 doses, they have to be followed up for a few months to see whether they have any particular myocarditis and or pericarditis. Okay, that's what the deal is. Okay. Okay, so that's about the WHO committee. The EMA, they said they also came up with a recommendation. After seeing the data, they said that there is increased risk of myocarditis and pericarditis following vaccination with Spikevax. Okay, so here is the effect. What happens after pharmacovigilance, or what happens after getting all the adverse events in one single place. So the ones that has been strike through, the white ones, okay, I've strike through a few of the words, right? This was the first package insert that was there. So after getting all the information, you can see here, it has been strike through, and the orange ones are the inclusions, the newer inclusions or amendments of the package leaflet, okay? Which means now since we have more, earlier it was called a very rare cases of myocarditis. Now we know there is definitely a link between the vaccine and the disease. Okay, so now that has been removed, and now it is said that there is an increased risk, okay, following vaccination with Spikevax. Okay, and these conditions can develop within few days after vaccination. And you can see at the bottom, the strike through, the cases are primarily occurred within 2 weeks, okay, after second vaccination, and more so in a younger men, which still continues to happen. Okay, continues to happen. But now we are specific, saying that within 14 days you will see after second vaccination, and more often in younger males. Okay. All right, just to give you a background of what is the pharmacovigilance market size, because if you understand these numbers, you will also realize that there is a scope for getting into, if you want to get into pharmacovigilance sector. Okay, so now it is about 7.8 billion, which is projected actually. But in next 10 years, this is going to double or triple. Okay, or people say we are compounded annual aggregate growth of about 10%. Okay, from year to year. All right. So this is what the market is. That means there is the pharmacovigilance market is going to grow, which means the career options is also going to be a good one. Okay, there will be demand for this. Now, so where is the who is the major consumer of pharmaceuticals? The major consumer of pharmaceuticals is North America, Europe, and Japan. Okay, so if you put all these three people together, about America is about 49%, Europe is about 23%, which is about now 72, and around 10% is Japan. So about 70 to 80% itself is by these three regions. Okay, that's the highest consumer of pharmaceuticals. So as long as they keep on consuming, as long as there is a infection, then there will be medicines, and when there is medicines, there will be new medicines also. As long as there are new medicines, they go through the clinical trials and they get in the market. That means pharmacovigilance will keep growing as long as new medicines keep coming into the market. Okay, that's how it is. And what happens is, there are some drugs which can get into abuse, especially some of the narcotics and some of those which have uh, tolerance, or things that don't work after a few doses. Then it keeps on increasing. When the dose keeps on increasing, that's what people do because of addiction or tolerance, and the adverse event starts showing up. Okay, that means pharmacovigilance keeps on growing. There are two types: the active pharmacovigilance and the passive pharmacovigilance. Basically, active means the manufacturer or the government or the regulators, say that, hey, you need to um, actively perceive all the consumers and ask them, give them a questionnaire and ask them, hey, if you find any particular adverse event or any adverse event that you think, whether it is causally related or not, you please let us know. So a questionnaire is given. That is active. What happens is, there is a passive as well, where the consumers and the healthcare professionals, without being asked, they can upload the information directly. Okay, through Pvpa or to the manufacturer or to the regulatory agency. Okay, so that is called as spontaneous reporting, and that is got a highest share. Though you report to the regulator, not to the manufacturer, but to the regulator, they will again go into the national database, and it goes to the global database that is called a VG or from at the UMC, and then it comes back to the manufacturer through the NRA. Okay, so irrespective, manufacturer will always get the information of how it's happening, whether it's active or it is passive. Okay, and now we also see that for example, the cancer is increasing, right? And we all know that anti-cancer drugs have a narrow therapeutic window, which means they may be beneficiary or beneficial effect, but they also have bad safety profile. Okay, so it's a therapeutic window is very narrow. Okay, which means there will be a lot of adverse events that will be reported from anti-cancer drugs. Okay, the big blockbusters in the last few years is the monoclonal antibodies, and we are seeing a lot of adverse reports that has been sent by the consumers and the healthcare professionals. And you can see, like just in 4-5 years, there was about 400,000 or 4 lakh adverse events that were reported. Okay, so these are some of the key players in the global arena. In India, we have there are two ways of doing things. One is the pharmaceutical companies have their own department, the pharmacovigilance department under medical affairs. What they do is, whatever comes to them from the consumers or healthcare professionals, they log in, okay, into their system. That system could be bought software from outside, like we have RSG and the Oracle. Then, or some people may have their own, in-house built systems. That is one way. So it comes to them. So they have a pharmacovigilance department within themselves. There are other companies like multinational companies who may have a small department, but or they may outsource to a CRO, and that is quite big. And since India is a low cost hub for most of these things, because it's a lot of labor is involved in this, a lot of people are required. So they have their offices in India, like Accenture, Bioclinica, even Cognizant. Cognizant is an US based headquartered company. So even they have offices here. Icon, IQVIA, Syneos, Syngene, Paraxel. So they also, even Tech Mahindra, they outsource, these US companies outsource this to CROs based out of India. So you have two opportunities. Either you go to a pharmaceutical company and work in the pharmacovigilance department for the products of that particular company, or you may be part of a CRO, and the CROs get projects from multinational companies and they run their pharmacovigilance in their Indian subsidiary of this MNC. So here is what happens in the pharmacovigilance workflow. Basappa will take over. Basappa, can you go through this?
Yeah, sir. But you have to close the.
No, you can talk. I'll keep the slides.
Sure.
And when you tell me to go to the next slide, I'll go to the next slide. Okay.
Yes, sure, sir.
You can start.
Yeah, sir. Sure. But that video is not visible, sir. Hello. Hello.
You can switch on the video yourself.
Yeah, it's already switched on, sir. I think it's not.
That's okay. You don't worry about it.
Sure. Okay, fine, sir. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. I will take just 1 minute. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I want to thank organizers, Learn to Upgrade training things. And I want to thank Sudhakar sir for giving me this opportunity. And myself, Karisetty Basappa. I have completed my master's from National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. And I was worked so many years in the pharmacovigilance in IQVIA and in various other things and in various departments. And as a trainer outside and after coming from IQVIA, I have trained almost more than 1,000 students in pharmacovigilance. And you can check out all the other details in mainspringscro.com website. And come to the today's session. Today we are going to discuss what are the workflows in real-time pharmacovigilance. Means already sir is covered so many things in previous slides, and the first slide, it is clearly there what is mean by pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is a science and activity which deals with the collection, detection, assessment, and prevention of adverse events or ADRs which may be because of any medicinal product or vaccination. The definition itself, it is very clear that collection. First one is collection. Collection means what we are going to collect. We are going to collect different types of cases. The cases are containing suspect product and the suspect product, what it may causes to the patient, that is adverse event and patient details and reporter details, some other background of the patient, that is medical history, patient medical history, past history, and other details which are present in the case. That is, we are going to call it as case. And collection, we are going to collect different types of cases. The first one is clinical trial cases. Those are coming directly from the phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials. And next one is spontaneous reports. Spontaneous reports, mostly we are going to get from post-marketing surveillance phase 4, or from the mostly from hospitals and some of the manufacturing small like hospitals, research centers also, we are going to get the spontaneous cases. But spontaneous cases are more, we are going to get any person, they can report any side effect to that particular company or to the National Pharmacovigilance Center also. Any can report, that is spontaneous case. And we are going to get literature cases, and we are going to get legal cases, and we are going to get partner cases, and we are going to get regulatory authority cases. These are different types of cases we are going to get in the pharmacovigilance things. Okay, we have cases and we have different types of cases, but we need we are having different type of cases, and we need to submit that cases in a different formats. Those are E2B format or online format, or we can send the case to the company or government bodies through email, fax, or SIAMs or MedWatch. And we have different types of forms, or we can call it as mediums. We are sending the cases of different cases through these mediums. And for particularly in corporates and CRO companies, what they are going to do, they are having different centers, and all the centers, they are sending the documents first into the support desk team. Support desk team means it's like a IT people. They are IT people, or some of the people from pharmacy background also, they are going to work in the support desk. And what they are going to do, first they are going to get all types of cases from all different countries, and their job to upload those cases into softwares or databases. We have different softwares in that. Mostly very famous is for particularly central government, we have Vigiflow or Vigibase software, and RSG software we have, and Argus software. These three are very famous, and so many companies, they are also having their own databases to enter the data whatever they collected from different sources. And here, once the support desk people, they are uploading the cases, it will uploading in the initial receipt and triage step. Okay, whatever you are seeing in the slide, those all are workflows. Means the life cycle of the case. Means first we are going to get the case to the support desk, and it will end in the benefit risk step. These are all are different steps we are going to follow in the pharmacovigilance to process the case from A to Z. That is end-to-end process. First, we are going to get in initial receipt and triage. Here, mostly freshers are going to work here mostly. And what they are going to do in simple way, the definition itself stating collection. Now collection is over. We are collected different type of cases in different mediums. After that, next we have to detect. What we are going to detect? First, we are going to check whether the case is valid or not. Means that is the detection. Means whether side effect is or adverse event is there or not. First, we have to check. That is case validity. First, we have to check case validity. If case meet case validity criteria, then we are going to check duplicate search. Duplicate search means whether the data which is present in that case, which is already reported or not, or it is a initial case. First, we have to assess that. Then first we have to confirm it's a purely initial case. Then we are going to enter the data in initial receipt step. In initial receipt step, we are going to enter ICH dates or regulatory clock start dates, and reporter details, and patient details, suspect drug details, and adverse event details, and seriousness of the adverse event. All basic informations we are going to enter in the initial receipt step. Once if you enter all those things, and the next one is triage step. In triage step, what we are going to do, we are reviewing the case, and we are checking whether all the data is entered correctly or not, and the side effects which are entered or adverse event whatever entered, whether the seriousness criteria of particular event or individual event enter correctly or not. That we have to check in the triage step. And whether the proper correct drug coded or not, that also we have to check in the triage step. Everything is good and the case is is data, all data is entered in the triage step, then that case moves to case processing team. In case processing team, what we are going to do, in the case processing team, all the data once again they are going to check, and the definition itself we have completed, collection is completed and detection is completed. The next one is assessment. The assessment part we are going to do in the case processing step. Mainly we are going to assess three things here. First one is seriousness assessment, whether the case is having exact seriousness, or event is having exact seriousness, or there is any like if the case is written in the document or case as a serious, but after assessing that may be converted to non-serious also. That seriousness assessment we are going to do in the case processing. The next assessment we are going to do, that is causality assessment. In the causality means whether the event is happened because of the suspect drug or not. Means that event is happened because of the suspected drug, means that company product or not, that we are going to assess. That is causality. The process of doing the causality is known as causality assessment. Means we are going to check whether the event is happened because of the company product or not. That is causality assessment we are going to do in the case processing. And the next one is labeling assessment. We have to do some labeling process in the case assessment. After that we have to enter some other data in case processing, and we have to write narrative. After that we are promoting that case to medical review when the case is serious case, and then only we are forwarding that case to medical review. If the case is if suppose 5 events are there, 5 events are non-serious, for example 5 events are there, 1 event is serious, remaining are non-serious, then if even one single event, serious event is there, then we have to forward that case to medical review. In medical review, the physicians, MBBS or MD pharmacology doctors, they are going to review the case. If everything is correct as per their SOPs, they will forward that case to QR. Suppose in case processing all events are non-serious, then that case directly go to quality review step. When now both cases are coming, serious and non-serious, both are coming to quality review. In quality review, the people who are working in the quality review, they are checking the quality of whole case. Okay, and they are opening the source document, and they are opening the database, and they are cross verifying, and they are checking everything, seriousness, causality, labeling, narrative, everything they are checking. Everything is correct, then they are promoting that case to reporting section. And once it will reporting to the reporting section, it will go to OST tracker, that is outbound submission tracker. Here what it is means, it is like different we have different cases, right? Based on the company, or based on the like initial unit, or based on the partner, it will go to that particular thing. And once it is going to OST, from OST they are going to prepare a aggregate reports. Aggregate reports means the name itself stating aggregate, means we are collecting group of events, and we are writing some reports like things, and we have PSUR, PADR, and so many different types of aggregate reporting things. We are reporting that cases and to the regulatory, and there they are going to do the signal detection process. And the next one is signal detection. Signal means new safety information. The signal definition is new safety information, or with the information is already there, and the new information is add on to the old or existing information, that is called as signal. Signal means new safety information, or it's a add-on value to the existing safety information. Means we are going to identify new safety informations in signal detection team. After that it will go to the benefit risk assessment and mitigation process. In benefit risk assessment, already sir is explained what is benefit, what is the risk, what is the ratio of benefit and risk. We are going to assess, and based on that they are going to give the approvals, or they are going to bring back the products from the market based on the benefit risk assessment or benefit risk ratio percentage. This is the workflow in pharmacovigilance we are going to use in CROs as well as PVPA system in Government of India. So next slide, sir. Yeah, this is the PVPA workflow. PVPA means Pharmacovigilance Program of India. It is a pharmacovigilance program conducted by the central government through IPC, that is Indian Pharmacopoeial Commission, and it is monitored by CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization. And this is a national regulatory authority for India. And whatever the things we are discussed, and same thing we are going to follow mostly in PVPI also. PVPI is a government body in India, and each government hospital and pharmacy colleges and so many health centers, we have ADR monitoring centers, that is AMCs, ADR monitoring centers, where we are going to report the ADR forms or side effects or adverse events in printed format of PVPI is provided on standard form. We are going to fill that form and we are going to submit to the AMC center, and the people whoever working in the AMC center, that is coordinators, they are uploading the details in the Vigiflow database, and once the process will start automatically, what we discussed in the last slide. And whatever the data they are going to collect, they are going to check quality check and causality assessment. After that, they are sending that information to the Uppsala monitoring center. It is closely monitored, associated with WHO, and there they are storing or they are keeping all drugs safety information. Okay, and next one we have next one we have already we discussed what is mean by signal and all. The next slide, sir. Yeah, here we have to learn two things already we discussed. In the seriousness criteria, what we are going to do, we are going to enter the adverse events or side effects in the all databases, whatever the databases we discussed, that is Visiflow or ARISG or Argus, whatever, any database, we have to enter side effects by using one of the standard dictionary, that is Medra dictionary. Means Medra dictionary is helpful for us to code any medical terminology we are going to using a case, any information is there in the case, or any side effect or any lab information or any indication of particular medication or any diagnosis, we have to use Medra dictionary. Medra dictionary is like a normal dictionary what we are going to use outside. Same way it is there, but it's like totally it is having all medical terminologies, some thousands of medical terminologies it is having. I will give simple example what is the importance and how we can use Medra. It's very important in the pharmacovigilance. For example, one of the case, and the case is having the side effect, that is my nose is running like a river. Okay, the patient is reported, after taking your medication, my nose is running like a river. Then if you use that same word to enter in the pharmacovigilance database, system cannot accept, and the entire world cannot accept what is mean by my nose is running like a river. By using Medra, you can code that same terminology, whatever reported in the case, that is, we can code it as by using Medra, that is rhinorrhea. Rhinorrhea is synonym for my nose is running like a river, or it's the exact matching term for my nose is running like a river. Okay, these type of terms or normal terms or hypertension and low blood pressure, whatever the terms, and hemoglobin or ALT, AST, all these liver function tests, everything we can code by using Medra dictionary. Okay, and the next one is we are already discussed, right? We are going to enter some of the suspect product or research drugs or concomitant medications or co-suspect drugs, whatever the drugs we are going to enter, and we are going to use one of the dictionary, that is WHO drug global dictionary. It is using to enter the suspect products or co-suspect products or concomitant medications. All those things we are going to enter by using WHO drug dictionary. And the WHO drug dictionary, it is also having, if you enter any product in the WHO drug dictionary, if you click on search button, it will display the drug name and its active ingredients, and it's a ATC code, that is anatomical and therapeutical classification. It is a for each drug we have code of ATC code, that is anatomical and therapeutical classifications. And so many countries or so many databases, that is nearly 150 countries, and so many pharmaceutical companies, they are going to use MEDRA and WHO drug dictionary. Next slide, sir. Yeah, sir, you can start. Sir, you can start, sir.
Yeah. So what are the learning, how do you learn? There is no particular curriculum in D Pharm, B Pharm or Pharm D on pharmacovigilance. Okay, there is a topic on pharmacovigilance, but how much deeper, would go, that's a problem. Like what is done in the industry and what is done in a AMC, the same things are not available in a particular curriculum of pharmacy. Okay, so what you have to do? So would you be okay to go to a particular school where they teach pharmacy with the pharmacovigilance? No, that will not happen. So the other option that is left to you is to learn through organizations or institutions who have face-to-face training, which not many do. But there are institutions and organizations like Learn to Upgrade or Make Intent, where they have their own platform, and through that e-learning platforms, you can learn from them. Because now I think people have learned that with the COVID-19, we can do a lot of things, like some of the meetings and the teachings, and everything can be done through a web. Okay. So that's a good way to learn. That's another way to learn, as long as you have a good faculty who have gone through and understand pharmacovigilance. Okay, so that can. So there are two ways. One is a live, and there are some organizations where they have uploaded all the modules, and you can pay for it. Some of them are free. But you can learn at your own convenience. Okay, what we say on the go. Okay, I've taken two examples on a global level. What is around? One is the DIA, Drug Information Association, which is basically a US-based huge association where a lot of pharma companies and the people from pharma companies are part of this particular DIA association. Okay, so they have a e-learning bundle, and you can see there are 7 modules there, right from introduction to drug safety all the way to some basic sciences that you can learn, like what is epidemiology, what is clinical pharmacology, what is genomics, especially with the pharmacogenomics and toxicology studies. So what is required for pharmacovigilance or for safety, you can learn from this particular DIA learning solutions. Okay. That's one. The other one is the Uppsala Monitoring Center, or UMC, e-learning courses, which are also, again, short recorded lectures. They also have reading materials with the quizzes. They are in English plus in Spanish. So you can go through that also if you want to get it on a global level. Okay. So again, there are 5 modules there. And out of these 5, 3 are open for public sector. So you can go through this as well. I'm sure the Learn to Upgrade also has its own platform, and they can tell at the end of the session what they have and how you can make use of them. Okay. In terms of career progression, since so I've been in the pharma industry, pharmaceutical research industry. I've been a pharmacovigilant for quite many years, and it was responsible of my team to watch out for those adverse events that come to us from the consumers, okay, or the healthcare professionals. So I used to be the qualified person in charge for pharmacovigilance in the companies that I've worked, pharmaceutical companies that I've worked, okay. But since Basappa comes from the CRO, and most of the big MNCs, they outsource to CROs. He has a different view, and so he can talk about it, because that will be much more related to your asking. I can see on the chat that people keep asking about the career progression. But one thing I see this, when you don't know anything about pharmacovigilance, you need to learn about pharmacovigilance. But I see some people are asking, what is a career? What do you mean by that? If you don't know how to do a carpentry or how to do electrical job, how do you say that you want to become an electrician or not, or a plumber or not, or a safety associate or not, or a clinical research associate? You don't know that, right? So you need to learn the basics. You need to understand the particular um, subject, and then you can think about the career progression. Um, of course, you can always end up in being a vice president, but can everybody become a vice president? No. But does every pharma graduate become a drug associate or a drug safety associate? No, because they may not be interested. So first you learn the basics, understand the subject, then you see whether you want to get into this line of work or not. Okay. So Basappa, over to you.
Yeah, guys, here career progression in the pharmacovigilance profession especially, and so many people are saying that uh, different their opinions or their negative opinions or their whatever their experience. Okay, and don't believe anyone. It's their own opinion and their own experience. Okay, you cannot you cannot take that as a what is that, it's a constitutional right like that. Okay, and so many people 20 years back, I was in pharmacy from last 19 years almost, and I heard pharmacovigilance. At that time there is no pharmacovigilance future. It's almost 18 to 19 years complete. Again, still I'm hearing the same word, but 18 years is over, still pharmacovigilance is there. Simple one thing, guys. uh, the in earth, people will be there. When the people will be there, they have to take the medication. Once they are going to take medication, they have to, the pharmaceutical companies, they have to report the side effects. Till human beings are there in the earth, till the time pharmacovigilance will be there, in simple line. Is it clear? That is the career of pharmacovigilance. Means when we are going to stop taking medications, then companies are stopping reporting the side effects to the regulatories, then only pharmacovigilance profession will disappear. That will be, I think that will be not possible. Why? Because if you want to sustain, we have to take medications, then they are going to report to the regulatories, pharmacovigilance will be there. That is the single line answer. And next thing is here, when any fresher, if they are going to select for any company, and they are going to join as a safety associate training, and that is a fresher job or designation as a safety associate trainee, and that is by most of the companies. And one more thing, guys, before explaining all those things, and you cannot imagine yourself all companies having the same job roles or same designations. Okay, it's a company to company, the job roles and designations will be changed, but roles and responsibilities will be similar mostly, but the names and terminologies will be changed. And some companies they are saying like operation specialist directly without using drug safety associate. Okay, but roles and responsibilities are almost similar, but terminologies are different in each company. Okay, and safety associate trainee as a fresher, and if you are completing 6 months, then you are promoting to safety associate 1, and after that you are promoting to safety associate 2. I means you are in that, it will take around 2 years of time to move to safety associate 2. Means then some companies they are calling it as drug safety associate also. And if you are completing 5 years, then you are moving to operation specialist. And in operation specialist, again we have one more operation specialist individual contributor, or we can call it as IC. And after that we are moving to assistant manager, from assistant manager to associate manager, and from associate manager to manager, senior manager, after that associate director, associate director to director, and director to senior director. After that, we are going to vice president and president, and your South Asian president, like that. So many job roles are there. And some people, they started, I know one person in one of the company, I cannot take the name and company name also, and he started his career as a safety associated trainee in the year of 2005 in Bangalore. Okay, and now he's a president of one of the company in Bangalore, and that is the future of pharmacovigilance and career it is we have. Okay, and so many students are asking, sir, what is the future in pharmacovigilance? And there is a future is there, career is there. Guys, any profession is consistent. First, we have to check where we are, and how we are performing, and where we need to reach. That is actually thing we need to think about it, not about the whether the pharmacovigilance will be there after 5 years. Pharmacovigilance will be disappear. What I have to do? Nothing will happening, guys, to the pharmacovigilance. First, you have to focus on your work progression and your career in that particular profession, and you have to keep your goals, and you have to reach each step, and you will be in pharmacovigilance. You will reach any level if you work hard, or you have to be more passionate. Next slide, sir. Yeah. Sir, you have to take.
But sir, we can go ahead.
Yeah. Can I? You have to take this one now, sir, or can I take?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Fine, sir. In safety associate trainee, this is freshers, and here simple thing, guys. What we are going to do? First, we are receiving the cases, and we are reviewing things. What we are review means whether that validity is there or not. Some assessments already we discussed, right? And we are assessing some points, and process of the safety data we are getting from different resource or various sources or various cases we are going to get, and we are entering all those things, and we have to follow certain standard regulations and standard operating procedures, that is SOPs. And we have two types of guidelines, that is external guidelines and internal guidelines. Means each company is having two types of guidelines they are mostly following, internal guidelines and external guidelines, and we are keeping internal guidelines for ourselves to give the best quality to the clients, or any like any particular company or any client. We have to give the best quality. For that, we are keeping certain internal guidelines and external guidelines. And we are as a safety associate trainee, what we have to do mostly, we have to do the review assessments and small works we are going to do, and mostly we are going to support to the senior operation teams, and we are going to enter the data, and mostly intake step we are going to work as a safety associate trainee. Mostly most of the companies they are taking, and once you are going to get experience, you are moving to other things. Here the main thing, first, as a what are the responsibilities when we are going to enter in any corporate company? First, they have due to some trainings. First, we have to finish the trainings, and we have to be complete certain knowledge checking exams and everything. Then you have to be very focused, and you have to learn, and you have to be that all the regulations, guidelines, SOPs on your fingertips. Means then only you can easily grab the things, and you can work as an individual contributor after your training. They will provide some training na? After the training, you have to work your own or individual. If you know everything, regulations, guidelines, SOPs, everything, then you can work very easily. And here as a trainee, what we have to do, we are collecting and tracking some adverse effects, and we are submitting some data to the next level, next workflow or next triage step. The next one is as a safety. Yes, sir. Sir, one more slide back, sir. Yeah. Here we need to here we need to check whether I'm entering correctly data or not, and we need to check our quality reports. For each case, they are going to send quality reports, and you have to check as a fresher or a new person. You have to check whether I am giving good quality or not. And if you are facing any challenges or issues, you can address in the team meetings, or they will provide you certain mentors, or you can speak with your manager, or you can express your any challenges in the team meetings also. Everyone will help you, and you can take feedbacks from the managers or your mentors or seniors also. Next slide, sir. Yeah, here the next, what skills are required to work as a safety associate trainee. First, you have to know the certain medical terminologies. A basic, very basic pharmacology is sufficient. No need to any PhD in pharmacology. Basic pharmacology or basic medical terminology, it is very important. That is enough. And the next one is we need to know, we have to very good verbal and written communications, where that is very important in the pharmacovigilance. Why? Because we need to write some mails, and we need to communicate to the outside people of our clients. We need to write a mail for some data is not available in the case. In that scenario, what we have to do, we have to write a mail, or we can use some options in the database, or we are sending some communications to the clients. For that reason, you need to know some written communication skills, and verbal communication skills are very important. Verbal communication skills are very important. You have to express your challenges, or you have to know something, then you have to ask them, right? You cannot ask in local language. Okay, at least we have to know how to communicate our problems. That communication skills are sufficient. And and here most of them coming from the colleges, and in the college level mostly they are working either 4 to 5 people, they are working as a team, or sometimes they are working as an individual. But when it comes to corporates, you have to work with big teams like 70 people, 90 people, or sometimes 150 people, or it's a big team. You have to work as a team player, or you have to work with a teams. So many people will be there. And the next one, you have to some at least basic knowledge of Microsoft Office, like how to use mail, how to write a mail, how to use Word document, how to use PPTs, how to prepare PPTs. And you need to know basic Excel. Basic Excel is sufficient. And if you don't know also Excel, no problem, but PPT presentations, and how to use how to write a mail, how to use Outlook, that is important. Or if you don't know also, they will teach you how to use that. And the next one is you have to be a self-motivated and flexible, and you need to be more attention is very important, and you are always ready to learn the new things. That attitude is very helpful for us to build our career in pharmacovigilance in the safety associate training. And that is willingness to and aptitude to learn new skills. And you have to be a strong management skills. Here the strong management skills means first of all, we need to have a discipline, and we need to punctual. For example, the meeting will be 3 o'clock, means you have to be in meeting room by 2:59. And suppose if the meeting is online, your meeting is scheduled at 4 o'clock, means by 3:59 you have to be in the call. That is the management skills and punctuality. And one more skill is very important as a trainee, and how to speak with your seniors and managers, and how to speak fluently and politely. And that is skills are very important in the management skills. Next slide, sir. Yeah, the next one is the education and experience. Bachelor degree in life science, or like a related field with up to 6 months experience, or it's a combination of education, training, and experience. And bachelor degree in life science means like B Pharma, or like BSc nursing, or some MSc people also, biotechnology, biotech. There are also some companies they are going to take MSc people also. And B Pharma, and M Pharm, PharmD, or BDS, BPD, or BHMS, physiotherapist. Anyone can apply for the pharmacovigilance, and they can take up as a safety associate training. And at least you have to know how to open the computer, and what are the keys are there, how to handle the keyboard. The basic computer knowledge is required. Why? Because most of daily 8 to 10 hours, we are going to work on the computer itself. Okay, at least basic knowledge is required, and you have to know, sometimes we are going to call to the manager, and sometimes we have face-to-face communications with the client. Okay, and at that time, that suppose they are speaking with you and you are looking some other people and you are speaking, you are not face-to-face contact is not there, that it is not encouraging in the corporate. That skill you need to learn. You have to be speak face to face, and that some basic formalities and basic communications required, how to sit, how to speak, and how to wear the dress, everything it matters in the as a fresher. The next one is in pharmacovigilance, you have to be more patient. The patience is playing key role in the pharmacovigilance, and you have habit of working extended hours. Means sometimes that as per the company requirement or client requirement, we need to support our team after shift hours also. Means after coming home also, sometimes we need to support our team, not regularly, sometimes that based on the requirement, based on the priority, we need to support our team. That is extended period of time we need to sit and we need to support to the our team. And sometimes it's very rarely we are traveling by means through company. Very rarely this will be happening, and sometimes we have to travel maybe maybe one or two times. And next one is drug safety associate role. Means if you complete almost in some companies they are recruiting directly as a drug safety associate. It's a different I already explained, right? Each company is having different terminologies as a job description, and but job title, but roles and responsibilities will be almost similar. Here, drug safety associate, he is mainly working on the case processing. In the case processing or case intake also, some of the people are working as a drug safety associates, and we need to we need to check the seriousness and labeling and causality and narrative writing parts, and we need to more working with the client people, and we need to have a client calls, and we need to check what are the problems of every day. We are having some meetings with the client, and everything we need to escalate to them, or we need to discuss with them. Sometimes we need to work according to the each product and each client, and each research work is having different rules and regulations. Why? Because we are international companies. They are mainly focusing as per their regulatory requirement. We need to work according to that. Sometimes we have to follow sometimes international and local regulations as well. As the main the drug safety associate, the mainly already we discussed so many points. Mostly he's mostly working on the, sometimes we need some medical inquiry. That time we need to approach to the medical review team, and we cannot taking laptop and we are not going to the medical review team. We need to approach through the database itself. We need to send some mails, or we need to request through the database itself. And we have one of the beautiful concept in the pharmacovigilance, that is product quality compliance. We can call it as PQCs. Means suppose guys, if you want to purchase anything, any product, whatever, either it's a watch, mobile, or anything, Bluetooth, whatever, either it is vegetables also. First, what we are going to check, whether the quality is good or not, right? Same way, if you are taking any medication, we have to check the quality of that particular medication. Suppose if the quality of that particular medication is not good, then we need to complaint to the particular company. Those are product quality complaints. Simple examples I will give, that is some in vials, that some impurities are there, that bottle color is not good, and the tablet wrapper is opened, and the syringe is broken, and lack of efficacy, and so many other things. Means the wrong route of administration. Instead of giving injection IV, we are giving subcutaneous. Those all are comes under product quality compliance. And for that also, we need to have a special SOPs and guidelines. Drug safety associates, mostly they are having separate team for PQCs. They are going to work on it. And the mostly the drug safety associates playing so many roles, and especially they are having excellent knowledge and on the case processing conventions and guidelines. Most of the like drug safety associates, they are mostly working in the case processing teams. Next slide, sir. Here the main responsibilities, already most of things we are already discussed, and in case intake in some of the databases, we are not using meta dictionary, we are entering whatever it is there in the case. But in case processing step, the drug safety associates definitely and mandatory, they are going to use the meta dictionary, and they are going to enter the medical terminologies by using the meta dictionary. And these people or drug safety associates, already we discussed, they are having some like they need to approach, they need to contact either internal or external sources, and most of the times they are going to monitor, or they are going to train, or they are going to check the quality of the drug safety associate, sorry, drug safety trainee person who is completed that cases. Mostly drug safety associates are senior members, they are going to review. And sometimes whenever that team is lacking some errors, or quality errors are more in particular area, and these drug safety associates are senior members, they are going to conduct a meetings or trainings to rectify the problem in this particular specific field. Those are activities are performing by the drug safety associates. Next, sir. Yeah, here the qualification is sometimes guys, there is no difference of qualifications for drug safety associate trainee or drug safety associate, or any mostly like sometimes as a trainee or intake team, they are focusing pharmacy students. Sometimes they need MSc also, same, right? There is no difference in the qualification. Both are having almost similar qualifications, and some companies, as per their client requirement, they are having some differentiations. And same way, we need to have the good medical terminology knowledge, or like computer proficiency, and everything whatever we already discussed in the safety associate training, almost same qualification and experience required for the drug safety associate as well. Next slide, sir. Yeah, in the pharmacovigilance, that is narrative writing is very, very important aspect in the pharmacovigilance. And the people whoever plan to work in the pharmacovigilance, or they want to select their career as a pharmacovigilance, they need they need some writing skills. Okay, and why? Because we need to write a narrative at the end of each case in case processing step. Means what is mean by narrative writing? Narrative writing in simple term, and in the case we have so many fields, right? Already we discussed reporter, patient, drug, suspect drug, adverse event, and sometimes literature information, sometimes patient past history, lab data, and medical history. Everything we are entering in the database field wise. And in the narrative writing, all that information we have to write in a paragraphs. It's not more than certain word limit, and we have to represent that whole case in 3 to 4 paragraphs, and in a very beautiful manner. Why? Because suppose I want to see 2019 case, one case I want to read, I want to cross verify one of the case that is reported in 2019. And if I want to check that case, and it will take so much of time to read each and every field, each and every step. And if I want to go directly to the narrative part, and if I read that entire narrative, then I can understand what is that case which is reported in the 2019. That is the main importance of narrative writing. Now you can understand what is the importance of narrative writing. If you want to refer any case, or if you want to do anything with old cases or anything, okay, no need to go each field wise. If you go to directly narrative writing, narrative tab, and you can read that case, you will understand easily entire case. And the next one is and sometimes after getting some some like 4 to 5 years experience, or maybe 3 to 4 years or 3 to 5 years, whatever, And you can work in the aggregate reporting team. In the aggregate reporting team, we are reporting cases in aggregate reporting. We have certain report systems are there, that is PSURs and DSURs and RMPs. We have, these are the different types of reporting of adverse event in the aggregate reporting team, and some experience is required to work in the aggregate reporting. Okay, and the next one is sometimes the same already I have explained. What is the importance of writing skills means you can have to write some reports in the aggregate reporting and narrative writing as well. For that you need certain writing skills is required to work in that pharmacovigilance. Next slide, sir. Yeah, and the next one is salaries. Yeah, guys, here each company is having different packages, and average package like average monthly salary in India for pharmacovigilance from 22,000 to 28,000. Sometimes it will be maybe plus or minus 3 to 4,000 also. Why? Because each company is having their own guidelines, their own policies. Based on that, salaries will be there. And average salary for pharmacovigilance fresher, it will be 22,000 to 28,000 per month. Sometimes it will be more than that based on the company and client and project also. It depends on so many other factors. Based on that, salaries will be there. Okay, and these are the things, and conclusion part. Sorry, these are some of the companies, their salaries, and conclusion part is going to take by Sudhakar.
Okay, so in conclusion for today's presentation, pharmacovigilance focuses on detection, evaluation, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects of drugs. Okay, the drugs can be so generally, for example, in India, the whenever a drug, whether it's a brand new drug, okay, when it is marketed, CDSCO always says up to 4 years you have to send us PSURs, that is periodic safety update reports, as a part of pharmacovigilance every 6 months for the first 2 years. That means 4 times in 2 years, and then followed by annually for next 2 years. That means for 4 years after the product is in the market, we have to send the PSURs to CDSCO. Okay, 6 PSURs. Okay, you can go through new drugs and clinical trials rules 2019. You can go through medical devices rules 2017. You will see there is a template for PSUR. Okay, you can go through that, understand what is required, and then submit it to CDSCO. Basically, they are asking, we don't take the patient's name and things like that, but we would take a little bit of demographics, and then medical history and the product, and what is the causality assessment, and then any other information that you can give, like for example lab reports or imaging reports, to say whether it is because of the drug or not. You can get a causality assessment. So that is so yes, that is about the new drug. Now, what is the definition of new drug in addition to what I said for new? As per CDSCO or the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, it says a drug that has been in the market for at least 4 years. So when it is within 4 years, it still becomes a new drug. So for example, company A, okay, is an innovator. Okay, so it is a new drug. So 4 years they have to send the PSURs once it is in the market in India. The next company, company B, is a generic company. Okay, and they are coming up, or